Hello. How's it going? Hi everybody, I'm Oliver and this is Chaotic Bibliophile. I feel slightly awkward. I don't know why. It's been a long time, I guess, but it hasn't been longer than any other breaks. I guess it's because I was hoping this year I was gonna be more active and I thought I had very realistic goals, which I don't think is false. It's just that life got crazy. And so I've had a lot of stuff going on. The best one is that I got top surgery and it went really well and I recovered much faster and better than I had expected. So yeah, that's really exciting. I just feel so much more comfortable in my body and I've been able to enjoy this very weird summer that we've been having in London. So yeah, because of job stuff as well and like other projects that I will reveal in due course, I just haven't been in the mood to sit down and record. I also, to be completely honest, have not been watching a lot of booktube, which I do hope to change. One of my hopes this second half of the year is to get back into the loop. Please comment what you've been up to. If you have any videos that you are particularly interested in me watching, please comment. That would be really nice. I do feel like if I get recommended things, I'm definitely more likely to watch them. But the other reason that I haven't been in the mood to record is that I started booktube at a time where I didn't have a lot of people to talk to about books, and that is no longer the case. I don't know, this sort of taking stock of what I've read just sort of feels more meaningless. And I'm not saying as a project it's meaningless, it's just the way I was engaging with it isn't rewarding anymore. So if you can see these piles, these are piles of things that I've read or DNF, but mostly read throughout this first half of the year. And it's not everything because I've gotten rid of a bunch of stuff. You know, some of the stuff was audio or in the library, but I kept it here instead of putting it back in the section of my read books because I kept putting off doing like a wrap up, and now it's just become too unwieldy. But I still felt like I wanted to go back to creating content and discussing books in a casual way. I kept thinking what it is that I'm missing. And what I was missing was this idea of like conversation, keeping it casual. I just wanted to be telling someone things and also having that response back. Basically, what I've been missing is doing podcasts. For many reasons, my friend Danny and I haven't been able to get back into it since she moved to London. And although I know we will at certain point, I just miss it now. I just decided I'm gonna do a podcast. I'm gonna upload it here to YouTube. I know most of us listen to videos as podcast anyway, and I'm not saying that any effort into editing or creating something audiovisual is wasted, and I certainly do want to make videos like that as well. But I just want to do a podcast for now, and I want to be telling, you know, the people I love and having them as guests and having this sort of chill environment. And of course we could record that, but I think adding the video element might put constraints on when we record and how we record and how we look. I just want it to be a conversation. So I guess this is my lead up, very unceremonious lead up to announcing the Chaotic Bibliophile podcast. What will it be? Basically a very casual conversation. I think if I have a guest for the first time, or maybe I'll want to have special episodes where I bring a guest and we talk about sort of who they are as a reader and talking about their identities as a reader, because I'm really interested in that. But also I just want updates, and I just want to create sort of this microcosm of people in my life where we just sort of casually chat about books and record it. But obviously a notch above, like still being a bit more thoughtful as to what our reading lives are, how those change over time. Yeah, obviously I'll introduce people who will be much more recurring than others, and that is fine as well. I don't know how this will turn out. I hope to record one per month and release one per month starting in September, so fingers crossed, because also life can get very busy. But yeah, we'll see how that turns out. We'll see if you guys are interested in checking it out. I think I did mention that I had a couple of videos recorded, but I just deleted them. I'm not in the mood to edit them. I have some footage of vlogs that I might want to release, but at the same time, they are a bit difficult to look at just because they are recent enough that I was out, but far enough that I look and sound very different, and I am not sure. I just want to release that. Recently, obviously, I've made the choice of leaving most of my old videos up, and the ones that I've sort of made private or deleted, I've done so not for sort of gender reasons, just because I don't think they were very good. So yeah, I don't know. But regardless, the other videos, like for example, I had a Books Under the Radar video where I talked about books that I didn't get to talk about last year, and I just wasn't in the mood to edit and release that. So apologies. I'm also not going to talk about these books mostly unless they make it to my tops of the year, which is definitely happening if I recorded one video a year. That and probably goals, so that would be 2. But anyways, those are the news. That's the state of the channel. I also do have some more sort of high effort videos in the pipeline, but again, life has not allowed me to work on them. So hopefully at some point I will get to make them, and that would be really cool. I still wanted to do a middle of the year check-in, even though most of my goals have flown away out of the window. So in case you don't know, I made this video, which will be also linked down below and in the eye as always, which was just goals that I wanted to set for myself in 2024. And the first of these was read it or leave it. Oh, I recorded a video about this, which I will also link down below and in the eye. And this was just a pile of books that I had to read before I moved, or, you know, get rid of them. And I did not complete that list, I don't think. However, it did help me prioritize a lot of books that I had sort of stashed away and reevaluate, and I did get rid of a bunch of them, and I also started a bunch of them that I DNF. And then also one of my books of the year was on that pile, so that's pretty cool. So I would say that goal was a success. I would like to do a read it or leave it, but probably next year now. Then quarterly wrap-ups, clearly I have not done that, and yeah, I'm just not gonna do that anymore. Maybe next year, we'll see. We'll see how I feel about wrapping up my own reading once the podcast gets going, but the podcast is just my priority for now. Then the James Baldwin project has not panned out at all. I want to restart it though. I think I'm gonna restart it in September and just, yeah, see how I go. Then there's the numbers goal, which is like reducing the number of books on my TBR. Okay, so this has been somewhat successful, as in from the number I had at the beginning of the year, got to 609 from the books that I had up to unread up to 2023. But then, including the books that I've acquired this year or that I've received as presents, proofs, I'm up to 687, which is less than 700, but not by much. And it also means, because I have, you know, acquired books this year that I've read this year right away, it means that there's no denying that I've acquired at least 100 books this year. The good news is that I haven't paid full price for most of them. At most, 10 of these have been full price. But if we're being completely honest, I've also stopped counting and have a separate pile for books that I take from work, because I work for a really big publisher and there's books everywhere, and there are a couple of imprints that I truly love, and because I don't expect to move in 2 years, this is a problem for the future. I'm not even repentant anymore. What I will say is that the spreadsheet has helped in me not buying books anymore as much as I did before. I am definitely spending much less money on books, and I am also buying less books. It's just that I'm in an ecosystem, and you know what? I'm not mad about it. Did I accomplish this goal? I still want to focus on not acquiring books just because, as in not paying for books that I can get in a year or two if I'm not gonna read them right away, and be realistic about the reading right away. I'm gonna give a D plus. Is that a thing? So like close to failure, but I have not failed. I also had said that I wanted to do March of the Mammoths. I have no recollection if I ever did that. Maybe I did, like I read one, maybe. And then I say that I will do Shorty September. Maybe. Yeah. Actually, now that I'm looking around, I'm like, I have a lot of short books and I would like to get to them. So, and then nonfiction November, I definitely want to do. I mean, it would all depend. Again, life, it might be too much, but also maybe not. We'll see. But ideally, because it will be the last nonfiction November fully ran by Olive as we know it, so I really do want to partake in that. I was also going to do Toni Morrison 2024, and I read 2 of the books and then I didn't keep up with them. I still have 3 of the books, so I have Tar Baby and Jazz and Song of Solomon, so maybe I'll do those 3 for this year, and then the next year and complete the challenge that way. But yeah, then there were a bunch of Storygraphs challenges. There was the TBR spin or booktube spin, which did not continue. There is the Color of the Month 2024, which I have not continued doing. But I think I'll retroactively fill it in. Then the TBR spin 2024, which I have not done. That was like select 12 books and then fit them into the challenges. And if nothing fits the challenge, you can swap it out. And I think the challenges are great. I just haven't kept up with it. I might try to catch up before the end of the year. I'm also doing Amelia Reed's Big Books, Less Pressure, which is trying to read 12 chunky books, whatever chunky means for you. I think for me, I wanted to do over 500, but I've counted some books that are quite thick, if they are like 450, depending on the physical properties of the book, because I do think that affects the reality of reading them. Like sometimes books can be 400 pages long, but actually they feel quite slim, and I think that does affect where you carry them, for example, and whether you pack them or not, and how likely you are to read them. So I'm not doing great. I've only finished 3, but I have a couple books that are sort of essay collections and stuff like that, and so they will get finished some point. I said I wanted to read at least 150 books, and I am 16 books ahead. I've read 115, and I said I wanted to read at least 50,000 pages. So far, I am 60% through. I am 3,104 pages behind. However, I mostly do not count books I'm in the middle of. Like, I rarely do the currently reading thing, because if you know how I read and if you looked at my piles, it would be chaos. It would just be chaos. I do like the idea of like, oh, I'm taking a book, filling it out. Maybe it's not the time, I put it away. And that is just how I interface with books. So that means that obviously I've read much more than what is reflected on my Storygraph. I hope to wrap up a lot of those books by the end of the year. So hopefully it'll all even out and I will achieve my lifelong goal to read at least 50,000 pages. Yeah, that's what it is. And just for a little bit of extra nerdy fun, before we leave, I want to tell you a little bit about my chart stats. In case you don't know, I use the story graph because it's great. This is so interesting because it says that my average time to finish a book is 9 months. And I think that is just the No Love Lost book, the Rachel Ingalls book, which is right here, that took me almost a year to finish just because it was novellas, and I also didn't want to finish it too quickly because that's all we've got for now, because I've also read Mrs. Caliban already. So right now, if I want to read more Rachel Ingalls, I just have to reread stuff, which is fine. But also, that's why I wanted to stretch it out, and I stretched it out a bit too much because it messed with my stats, but I don't care. It's just been a fiction year. I've read 63 fiction versus 37 nonfiction. Hopefully this will change a little bit once nonfiction November comes around. Yeah, I don't mind too much. It's just, I don't know. If it's just that I have been feeling more on a fiction kick, then that's fine. Especially this year, I've always had a short story collection on the go, and that makes me feel so good. But if it's actually that I am prioritizing fiction because I feel like it's quicker, which is not even true all of the time, then that is a problem. So we'll see how we go. Generally, however, I've been feeling great about my reading. Right now I'm at a weird time because I'm at a time where I haven't been prioritizing reading, but that's been a very conscious choice and I'm happy with it. But I'm also reaching that point where I'm about to no longer be happy with it. So actually, after recording this video, I'm gonna go outside and read for a bit. Yeah, I'm fluctuating and doing weird things with my arms right now. Oh my god, it's just been a busy week within a busy month, within a busy life, I guess. What has changed my life is that I've been DNFing left, right, and center. Again, this does not mean... I think I'm quite good at identifying, I will never want to read this book probably, versus, it's not a now book. I'm not gonna DNF it on Storygraph or anything. That's a good distinction to have, because I do want books that are challenging and challenge me in my ideas and things that are different, and maybe I'm not feeling that right now, but I'll feel it later. So I do want to have allowance for books to surprise me, but I do think I'm good at identifying where a book is actually just not for me, not what I want to read, or just not good, to be honest, because there are books that are not good. That's such a mean note to end on. Sorry. Books are great, guys. Go read books. That's it. I am thinking, and let me know if you're interested in this, or maybe that will be the first episode of the podcast. I don't know. But I am thinking of doing a very quick rapid fire video about the top books of the year so far, because I would like to see how many of those make it to the end of the year, if that makes sense. Let me know if you're interested in that, because if you are, I promise I will record it. Okay, I will record that video if you say you want to look at that, watch that, listen to that. Anyways, let me know how you've been doing, what have you been reading, and that's all. See you next time. I don't know why I did that so creepily. Sorry. Bye. Big book Lex. Just blah. So don't slow, more blah. But if... Oh, God.